What up, people? Welcome to the Push a Ball Black Show. I'm your host, Christian. This is the Bearscast for Week 7. And the New England Patriots beat the Bears 38-31. I watched that game twice. And Mr. Trubisky's throw to Kevin White in triple coverage is still awesome. This is not going to be one of those, like, Mitch was awesome shows, though, because he was average. And as a matter of fact, he threw 50 times, completed 26 throws. So he was a little bit above average as far as completions and attempts. 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And honestly, there should have been at least 4. But New England's defenders couldn't catch. Bears had 2 fumbles and an interception. They intercepted Brady once. There really wasn't a pass rush. Khalil Mack is not healthy, and he was double teamed the whole game. And special teams killed it. Special teams killed us. You had no one could tackle. There was a block punt, and there was a kickoff return for a touchdown. And that's basically what did it. No tackling, no defense. We can't say that the defense is top 3 anymore. We can't say that anymore because they're not. They have not completed a complete defensive game this entire season. Are they a top 10 defense? They're top 10 pass rush. And really, they're less than that when Khalil Mack is not getting to the quarterback. I don't understand why the defense is not getting to the quarterback, because Khalil Mack didn't play last year and they were able to do this fine. But they have not been able to get to the quarterback at all. They haven't been able to tackle well. The Josh Gordon play for the touchdown was ridiculous. The early running success by New England was ridiculous. No one was able to tackle. Mr. Trubisky's performance. Here's the thing, man. Like, I said on Facebook that basically this team and I've said it the entire season, that this team is going to be 8-8, that this team is, that I'm not surprised that this team is 3-3 right now. Rookie head coach, project QB, Mr. Trubisky is a project, and this is the developmental season. That being said, though, Mr. Trubisky's vision is absolute. I don't know, it's trash right now. His arm is awesome. His feet are average because he can't. And I'm not talking about his feet as far as his run ability, because he had a real good game running today. I think he had. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Mr. Trubisky had 81 yards rushing and a touchdown on 6 carries. My man was a problem, but his vision as far as going downfield is trash right now. Like, there are moments for every good throw, or for every 2 good throws Mr. Trubisky has, there's a what the heck are you doing? What the heck are you doing throw in the game? Like, there were at least at about the 9-minute mark, there was indecision, and there was a throw where there was almost a pick. There was almost another interception right before, I think it was the end of the quarter or the beginning of the second quarter. There was an almost interception there. There was in the second quarter, with about 8 seconds left, there was a what the heck are you doing? Where it was 8 seconds. They were marching down the field. They were trying to get into field goal range. Mr. Trubisky basically hiked the ball and danced for 7 seconds, and then threw the ball away. And let's see. And with Nagy, it was closing play on the third quarter. On the second quarter, they didn't check the ball down. They didn't check the ball down the field. They didn't take a shot down the field. It was a check down the Cohen. So you didn't draw a play. Nagy didn't draw a play for Mr. Trubisky. Had an opportunity to get into field goal range. He couldn't get in the field goal range. He didn't know, I don't know if he knew the time situation or what, or he was kind of figuring it out. I don't know what was going on, but he wasted 7 seconds. They got out of bounds, and the last play was a check down to Cohen. So you didn't even try to get down the field. There were almost 3 interceptions. The third quarter interception was the third quarter almost interception was he was running. Let me see. No, it was the interception. That was the one where he was running to and he threw the ball, and I think he was trying to throw to Bellamy, and the receiver didn't necessarily jump the route. It was a covered throw, and Bellamy couldn't hold on to the ball. That throw was dangerous anyway, because if he made that throw, he was an inch away from being past the line of scrimmage, and that would have been an illegal forward pass. I don't know what he's seeing. And the second interception was underthrown. And basically it was a jump ball. It was underthrown. And the corner jumped up and out-jumped the receiver and caught the ball. This is frustrating because it's like, I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt and everything, but is it vision? Is that going to get better? Or is he just going to be one of those guys that threads the needle and throws the ball in windows and that he really shouldn't be throwing them? And we're just going to have to accept 2 to 3 picks, 1 to 2 picks a game. Like, is that something that we're going to have to expect as a fan base? I mean, it's fun. You know you're going to be in the game, but is Mr. Trubisky going to be Aaron Rodgers, or is Mr. Trubisky going to be Jay Cutler or Tony Romo or now Kirk Cousins? Because, and like I said, this season, he's still, like I've said in the beginning of the season, every scouting report that I've seen, he was 2 years away. We're in his second year to where, a year and a half away. So we're in his full year. We had his half a season last year. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt till the end of this season. So this whole season, he's going to be, because Nagy's letting him make mistakes. And if Nagy's letting him make mistakes, then cool. Let him make mistakes. Let him figure out this offense. Let him do whatever he has to do. Just understand that Pat Mahomes is going to make you feel really, really bad because he's doing amazing things, and Mitch is doing amazing things too, but it's not the same. So, but what I worry about is his decision making and his mechanics are bad. And sometimes I worry because in Chicago, we don't know what a quarterback is. So, like, when Jay Cutler came here, everybody was on Jay Cutler's nuts, right? Jay Cutler's here. Jay Cutler's awesome. We have a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl now because Jay Cutler was a Pro Bowler in Denver. He was an alternate Pro Bowler in Denver because people didn't want to go, and there was an injury. Jay Cutler, and I thought coming out of Vanderbilt, he was going to be good. He was the sleeper quarterback of the draft that year. He had bad mechanics then. He threw picks then. And with Mitch, his arm strength was, I've heard he had an arm. I heard he didn't have an arm. There's a lot of inconsistency with his arm strength. There are underthrown balls and there are overthrown balls. And I'm trying to see if those balls are because of his vision being bad, because he's still learning, or is this just something we're going to have to deal with for the foreseeable future? And do we have like I said, a Kirk Cousins, a Jay Cutler, or a Matthew Stafford? Because what's going to end up happening is this season he's going to set all types of Bears records, right? So they're 3-3 now. If they go 8-8, cool. If they go 9-7, cool. If they go 7-9, cool. They were 5-11 last year. They're gonna win 3 extra games just because they know what they want to do offensively, and I still stand by that. Does that necessarily mean that's gonna get you to a wild card? Because I don't see you winning the division because there are better teams than you. Because the defense can't tackle. If there's no pass rush, defense looks real pedestrian. Really. So if the defense is going to look real pedestrian if there's no pass rush, then what do we have as a quarterback? We might have a franchise quarterback, but it might not mean anything, meaning we might not get to the playoffs still. We might finish 10. We might get to the playoffs maybe 1 or 2 times a year with him, 1 or 2 times in his career, and still be competitive, but I don't know what we have. But because if the defense is going to be not tackling people and Mac is going to be double covered and stuff, then it's not going to be a rough season for me because it's still entertaining to watch, and I'm not going to be mad about this season. But I am just wondering, like, okay, when are we? Because what's going to happen tomorrow is because I haven't listened to any Bears post-game. I try not to listen to any Bears, like, post-game or analysis before I record these because I don't want to get my ideas and anybody else's ideas mixed up as my own. So I kind of don't listen to stuff before I put this up. So I watched this game twice. I watched it when it was live. I watched the Cowboy game. Cowboy Nation, what are you doing? And I rewatched the Bears game. So I don't really know. I won't know what's going on locally here till tomorrow morning. What's going to happen tomorrow morning is people are either going to say Mitch is bad, and people are going to say, like, wait it out. There's an issue in this town media-wise that we can't be critical of Mr. Trubisky. I'm going to be critical of the 2 interceptions he shouldn't have thrown. Even if the receptions were made, Bellamy has been shown that he's inconsistent as a receiver, and that ball, second interception, that ball was underthrown. Why would you? Mr. Trubisky has been, and he can throw crazy passes. That last pass to Kevin White for the Hail Mary, that's why you got him. He threw into triple covers because he had to Kevin White caught the ball. There were other times where he threw in the double coverage in the end zone, and it could have been a pick. There was at least 2 other times where there was an interception, but New England defenders dropped the ball. So Mr. Trubisky could have had a 2-touchdown, 4-interception game today, and we will be talking about a whole different situation. But anyway, I don't know, man. Like, they're 3-3. They're still in the hunt for the division because I don't trust anybody really. Aaron Rodgers is still good. Aaron Rodgers is still hurt, and the Vikings are still the Vikings. The Vikings will have, because they had a good game today, they may have a bad game next week. I don't know. So they're still in the hunt up for the wild card. But if they go 8-8 or 7-9 or 9-7 and don't make the playoffs, that's cool. But what are we looking at as far as Mitch goes? Is this something that is the bad decisions and the trust in his arm too much? Is that just something that we're going to have to deal with for the next 2+ seasons? Because I think he has a 4-year deal. But anyway, and a couple things. Jordan Howard, we had a Jordan Howard sighting today. I kind of wish they used him a little more still, even though he had a touchdown. He only had 6 carries. Tariq Cohen basically did most of his work in a receiver capacity. Trey Burton was Mr. Trubisky's security blanket. I'm glad that that's a thing now, or Trey Burton is now a favorite of Mr. Trubisky because he's going to be open. And in the beginning of this season, Mitch was missing Trey in the end zone. So I'm kind of glad now that they're starting to get that connection going on, because that's the future right now, or that's the future right there. And they'll be fine. But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. I'm kind of, I don't know, man. Like, I was more aggravated with the Dolphins game just because it's the Dolphins. We should have beat the Dolphins. But I didn't expect it to be as close as it was. And there was some passes, like I mentioned earlier, that it was like, what are you looking at? But still hanging on in there that he might get some of this mess out of his system this year, and next year be better. But anyway, that's it. Push a Wild Blackout. See y'all next week.